Hello, I'm Hannah Wallace and welcome to Finextra. Today we're in Dublin to meet with Fenergo, and with me now is Joe Dunphy, Vice President of Product Management, and we're discussing digitalising client lifecycle management for improved customer experience. Hello Joe, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you, Anna, it's my pleasure.
Firstly, can you tell me how has Fenergo's CLM roadmap changed in the last 2 years and what's expected in the next 2 years?
I think if you look at the last 2 years, a lot of what we've been doing with the industry and with our clients has been focused on getting their internal processes right. So optimizing client lifecycle management processes within the banks, driving out inefficiencies, automating as much as possible in terms of interacting with third-party data providers, and really driving a best practice data model for client lifecycle management that everything else builds on. So that's been a very heavy focus. You get the data right, get the process right, get the structure right. So we can really work with those banks to create what's an industry standard for client lifecycle management and a best practice process management for their internal processes. When we start to look a little bit further out, and where the industry is going and where they're bringing us, I think we're taking that baseline now and we're looking ahead. And there's a couple of things that are changing. So one, the focus has moved very much from how do we manage what's happening internally within the banks and the process to that point of interaction between the banks and their end customer. So those channels, what are the points at which the users of the software and the business practitioners within the banks engage with the end clients, and what are the touch points that take place, and how do we make those journeys and those touch points more effective? And a lot of that then starts to be built on new technology capabilities. So where possible, the move within the industry is really to move towards straight through processing. So you've got a nice client customer experience, but when they request something or when they want to do something, it happens automatically. And we're leveraging things like robotics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, all of these technologies that people talk about and you hear about to make that happen. But all of that is based on the previous work to say, well, let's get your data model and your structures right. And then when you layer on the new technology capabilities, it's really got the potential to transform things for banks and for their clients.
All right, and what benefits do these changes have for financial institutions across the globe?
There's a number of different benefits. One has definitely been sort of greater control and transparency over the processes. So I think if you look back in a lot of financial institutions over the previous years, you've got siloed business lines, siloed processes, siloed technology, and bringing all of that together gives a greater degree of oversight and control over the process, and it gives the ability for people to manage it much more effectively. But also, I think the customer experience is one of the key benefits that the banks and their clients get. If your process is more efficient, if you can onboard clients within days rather than weeks or months, well, then the benefit to the bank is there in terms of resource and efficiency, but the benefit to the clients is also there, and that obviously translates into a bottom line value for the financial institutions themselves.
All right, and when designing a client lifecycle experience for financial institutions, how is this visualized, and what role does the global client community play in this?
I think for us, everything starts with the business processes themselves. And technology itself is only a tool, and it's important for us to be able to deliver quality solutions. We need to understand the underlying business processes, and that involves having people on the ground working with the practitioners, understanding what their day-to-day job is, in order to genuinely understand how we can build technology solutions to make that process better, or really to transform it. And what's also important is that it's not just us, it's not just working with a single client, it's actually bringing together a community of banks to collaborate in order to drive real industry standards and industry best practice. one of the things that's been really eye-opening for us is how much the banking community are willing to come together and collaborate to make these technology solutions and business processes better. I mean, when you look into the banks, when you look across the industry, across 30, 40 different banks, they're all doing the same thing. The client lifecycle management process in each of those banks is largely the same. They're onboarding the same clients, they're setting up the same products and accounts, they're complying with the same regulations in each jurisdiction. And there's a great power in bringing different points of view to the table, getting subject matter experts from different perspectives or different parts of the world who are trying to solve the same problem, and bringing them together to figure out, well, how do we build an industry standard? How do we build an industry best practice solution that leverages the expertise across all of those banks, rather than just being focused on a single technology company or a single client? It's that community approach and bringing those community of banks together really is a core building block for everything that we're trying to do here.
And finally, most financial institutions have a digital transformation program in place. But what are the benefits of digitalizing the client lifecycle experience for financial institutions and their customers?
I think at its heart, financial services is a services business. So banks, financial institutions are providing financial services to their clients. And ultimately, happy clients mean profitable businesses. And I think that's really at the heart of the digital transformation wave that we're seeing. It's moving from business processes, it's moving from compliance focus and saying, well, actually, financial services is a services industry, and we need to really put the end client at the front and center within those business processes. I think what the business transformation and the digital transformation changes do is it leverages things like communications technology, it leverages things like robotics, AI, machine learning to transform the interaction that each of those clients has with the financial institutions as they're dealing with them. But it automates and removes a lot of the waste in the process so that the banks themselves can focus on the value add. So where within the process can we add real value through the human interaction with those clients, and then where can we transform and automate the processes that can be automated, so that as a client or a customer of a financial institution, every moment that you interact with your financial institution should be a golden moment. It should be a great experience. You should see it in the same way as you see your interaction with any other service provider within the world. And I think that's the opportunity that the digital transformation gives. There's a technology underpinning to it, and there's new technology capabilities there that really transform how that experience can be delivered. But ultimately, this is about a realization that financial services is about delivering a service and an experience to the end clients. Whether that's a corporate or an investment manager or a retail client, the principle is the same. The expectations that people have today from what they should get from their financial institution is very, very different from what it may have been 10 or 15 years ago. And I think that's really at the heart of that digital transformation.
Joe, this has been great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.